1962. It had been 5 years of turmoil for the five families. Public slayings and shamings, coups gone wrong. By this time, the families were led by Joe Bonanno, Tommy Lucchese, Carlo Gambino, Joe Profaci, and Vito Genovese. Genovese remained one of the most feared and powerful bosses on the commission, despite getting nabbed on a drug charge back in 1958.
Charges are fantastic and ridiculous.
While in prison in Atlanta, Vito Genovese feared that a member of his own family, who was also serving a lengthy sentence, might be tempted to flip and turn state's evidence to betray Omerta. The member's name was Joseph Valachi.
Joe Valachi was a two-bit hood in the Genovese family, and he got arrested on a drug charge, and it wound up that he was in the same prison in Atlanta with Vito Genovese.
And at some point, he either gets tipped off or he gets the sense that he's run afoul of Genovese and he's going to be killed.
The story is that Valachi believed that Genovese had fingered him for assassination.
He said, you know, sometimes you buy a barrel of apples and one of these apples is touched. Not all rotten, but a little touch. He said, that apple has to be removed, or it'll touch the rest of the apples. Grabbed my hand and he gave me a kiss. This is a suspicious kiss. The kiss of death.
Valachi suspected that he was going to be set up for murder, and he suspected one guy in particular was supposed to kill him.
I made one lap of the yard, is about, I say, 4 blocks long. Then I made another lap, and then I made another one, and then on my way back, I spot Joe Beck. Well, he was walking with another guy, see? And right away, I saw the pipe. I grabbed the pipe, and I went to wake on Joe Beck. I hit him on the head with the pipe, very hard. Well, then I saw a couple of guys running towards me. They made about 2 attempts before the officer come over, see? All the way to the Associated Warden's office. He showed me a picture. I said to him, who's this? He said, that's the guy you hit. You could imagine how I felt. I sank in a chair, you know. I told him, just lock me up.
It turned out it was a case of mistaken identity. Killed the wrong guy. The person had nothing to do with any planned hit. Commit a murder in prison, you're really going to face a lot of trouble.
And so he goes to the authorities and says, in exchange for protection and keeping myself alive, I'm willing to talk. And so the FBI takes him in, they interview him, and before long, he is before a congressional committee.
The story of Joseph Valachi's testimony today before Senator McClellan's investigating subcommittee.
Valachi is going to commit the greatest sin of a mobster, which is to break the code of Omerta. Omerta is the code of silence. We do not talk to the law. We do not talk to outsiders. All of our business is private.
A convicted hoodlum whose confessions to the FBI have reportedly put a price of $100,000 on his head.
And Valachi breaks that code, yanks the curtain back on all the secrets of what the mob is.
For more than 30 years, law enforcement and the American public had extremely limited information when it came to the mafia and how it operated. Now, for the first time, their questions would be answered.
You solemnly swear the evidence you should give before this Senate Select Committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
He actually disclosed that there were 5 families in New York. He put on the table that the Mafia and 5 families existed, and here were their names.
Are you a member of any such organization?
Yes, I am.
What is the name?
I was.
What is the name of it? It is
Cosa Nostra in Italian.
Cosa Nostra in Italian.
Our thing and our family in English.
Our thing and our family in English. We'll come back to that later, but that is an organization, is it?
Yes.
That requires absolute obedience.
Yes.
And conformity to its policy as handed down by those in authority.
Yes.
Why do you feel like it should be destroyed?
Well, through the years, first of all, I want revenge. Second of all, they've been very bad to the soldiers. And they've been thinking for themselves all through the years. As the senator put it before, what did I get out of it?
What'd you get out of it?
Nothing but misery.
Misery was right. And for New York's 5 families, there would be much more of that to come.
Good afternoon. What set off this latest round of crime hearings by the Senate's Permanent Investigation Subcommittee was the existence of one Joseph Valachi, 60 years old, convicted dope peddler, convicted murderer, and one-time member of the Mafia, or Cosa Nostra.
He testified about the Mafia, about Omerta, about the structure, who is who, about Genovese, about all the stories.
Well, we might ask you at this time, what are the different positions in that organization? Starting at the top, what do you have?
They used to have what we call the boss of all bosses.
The boss of all bosses. All right. You say now, however, there is a commission. Does it now have a boss of all bosses?
No, no more boss of all bosses. We have what we call a commission. Charlie Luciano, Charlie Lucky put it in effect. And we had the individual bosses of the individual family. And we had an underboss. And we have what we call a caporegime, which is a lieutenant. And we have what we call soldiers.
Soldiers?
Soldiers.
Joe Valachi created a storehouse of knowledge, facts, impressions about the structure of organized crime in the United States.
Joe Valachi's testimony to the United States was a seminal moment because he gave concrete evidence of what these families actually were. That he actually names names of bars that the Mafia owns. And so he makes it real. And he also tells, about all their secrets, the initiation ceremonies, how somebody was made a member. He talks about killings. He really does not hold back.
Well, this is a secret organization. How do you get to know that somebody is a member of the same family?
He'll introduce him to you, for instance, as a friend of ours. That means a member. Now, if he happens to be with someone that isn't a friend of ours, he would just simply say, meet a friend of mine, which means nothing. That's the code between us.
So there was a code that enabled you to identify other members of the family?
Yes.
Did you do anything for the family at all in this time, or did they just do things for you?
Just go out, kill for them.
You'd go out what?
Kill for them.
And so the gangsters were, there is absolutely abhorrent to them to have all their secrets spilled out into national TV.
Valachi really does create this path forward for any mob turncoats. And what he does is shows that there is a way to become an informant and still survive, that there's a life after for anyone who wants to take that path. And, we'll see that this continues to happen. After Valachi does it, the You know, floodgates in a lot of ways are open for the federal law enforcement and law enforcement in general to take advantage of people who are willing to break the Code of Omerta.
Joseph Valachi would die in federal custody in 1971, but his testimony would be studied and scrutinized by law enforcement and journalists for decades. From the outside, Valachi's betrayal of Omerta provided the public with a glimpse of what life was like inside the mafia. Amongst members of the five families, his testimony was a grim reminder of the looming existential threat to their way of life, Omerta.
For a soldier, as you all understand, once you're in, you can't get out.